With all the craziness in this world, we are here to have open and honest conversations to help navigate our thoughts.
Sometimes we are right and sometimes we're wrong. But in the end, if we aren't learning, we aren't living.
This is Philip.
And this is Wes.
And we are
Two Bottles Deep.
Hello, Wes.
Hi, Phil.
Are you reared back in your chair? What's happening?
I feel like I should just be high on edibles.
Are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just really chill right now.
You are. I love the energy.
Yeah.
Here in the dungeon.
Today's episode.
Happy whatever day it is. How are you, babe?
We are here. Great. I just got back from the ATX.
You can
Austin,
put the hands
Texas.
down now. We did the whole show with your hands just up here. So earlier,
like, I'm numb.
You went to Austin. That's right. You saw Jason Capes.
Jason Capes.
Yes.
And say to his beautiful new place.
How would you rate the cleanliness of his apartment? 0 to 10?
10 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. And he's, why are you shocked?
He's filthy.
And he has a dog too. So to have
but Beamer weighs like 0.8 ounces. Like when Beamer sheds,
it's like
you find one hair and you're like, Beamer.
And he's also a Yorkie that shed. But it was a great time. Went down for the Unite the Fight Gala. And Jason and I were talking after that event. Every major city needs a Unite the Fight Gala.
This is the one where people who've never done drag, because we talked about it in a previous episode, people who've never done drag do drag too, but you didn't know the charity. You thought it was homelessness.
There's 4.
Okay.
Yes, there are 4 charities.
She's all in.
I know everything now. It's through Equality Alliance of Austin, or Texas, but it's equality stuff. And it's the Out Youth Austin and 3 other charities. And one was like a clinic that helps serves like abortions and female stuff, and just here's what you need to take away from it. It's all good stuff.
Yeah,
I just don't remember. But yeah, I think
did your friend do well?
2,500. He did well. His team alone raised, I think, 30,000.
Good gosh.
Yeah.
What'd you donate?
So 30,000.
You did the whole thing.
I did the.
Times are
tough for people.
Yeah, at your level, you need to really scale back on your donations.
Well, it's fun because you buy a seat there and it's $250. Do you want to guess the plated dinner?
Is it one plate? Was there a salad?
No, they had 3 options.
Okay. Was there a salad waiting for you at the table?
It was.
The
dessert.
The dessert was already.
It was.
The dessert was a moose.
Oh shoot.
Okay, so the dessert was a moose. That's safe.
Yeah.
And the salad, was the dressing already on it, or were there 2 like crevasses of salad dressing?
Already on it.
It was already on it. Okay, so you didn't get a choice of that. It was a vinaigrette.
I forgot.
It wasn't a ranch.
It wasn't ranch.
Because ranch is good, but like people, vinaigrette's safer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a protein and 2 veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was in a bowl.
Ooh.
And then the mashed potatoes was like under the steak.
So the mashed potatoes were steak and mashed potatoes. So I guessed.
But they were coming around. There was a vegan dish. Ugh. I wanted that.
What was it?
And then the lady didn't speak English. And I'm like, and I said vegan, but she heard beef. So then I got a beef plate. And then I was mingling, so I had to go say hi to people I hadn't seen in a long time. And then I get back, and Jason had them swap it out for me because I told her about 3 times that I did not want beef. And she's like, beef? And I'm like, no beef. She's like, beef. And she kept coming back with beef plates. But the vegan plate was the same, the mashed potato puree thing under it, some lentils, a broccolini, mushrooms, great mushrooms. And it was a cauliflower steak. Yeah. You're not excited over there.
Oh, I've made cauliflower steak. I made a cauliflower steak one time, and I posted a picture of it because I think it's hysterical to post pictures because I know people are going to respond. And a friend of mine wrote back, "It's not a steak, it's a vegetable." And I was like, "Yeah."
Is he part of the NRA?
Probably. Probably.
So what's for dinner?
Well, it sounds like you had fun.
We had a great time. It's fun being back. I had all that scariness going back there for the first time.
Yeah, now you don't care.
Now I'm
double
taking
burden
my
people.
shirt off.
Did you?
No, I didn't take my shirt off. But my friends Catherine and Brandon,
they took their shirt off.
No, they did not. Catherine probably would have. We went to college together. Saying her and her husband live in Austin now, and they moved there right before I moved here. so it was so much fun just being back together with them and having a great time at a charity event. And yeah, and when you were there, they have a barcode up, and then they did another auction. So people donated and your name was on the screen. So they raised another 50 something thousand while we were all there, plus the ticket sales, plus Phil's teams raised over 30,000, and there were 7 contestants. So I'm gonna wager $400,000 raised. And there was a silent auction. So
did you bid on anything?
no, there was no QR code, and I didn't know how it worked. And then
You just stayed silent.
It was like I was very silent. There were some neat things, but I don't like to accumulate things.
Yeah,
so I didn't. There was like candle sets and wine sets.
It's so weird at silent auction. It's like a charcuterie board, with cured salami, and you're like $89 for that. I feel like I could get it cheaper.
Yeah,
it's for the kids, I know, but
for the kids,
they can get a job.
So it was good. We had a great time. What have you been up to,
girl? This past weekend, I'm gonna tell you, if y'all live in Nashville and or are gonna visit Nashville, you have to do the big game show at Opry Mills. It's probably one of the only reasons to go to Opry Mills, honestly. I don't love that spot.
Yeah.
Getting in and out of there is an absolute shit show.
Crazy.
But the big game show is an immersive game show experience where you go in and you have 12 people on 2 teams. There's a host, and you go into the studio and it's set up like a freaking game show. You've got your buzzer, you've got your little podium each. You've got
so it's
your
like Family Feud.
I mean, we were living. It's 1 hour. It felt like it flew by, but it was some people from work. We had so much fun. It was, Wheel of Fortune style, spin the wheel. It was building blocks. It was shooting Nerf guns. It was doing trivia. It was so fun.
Oh, I would like venture to say you would work there. Like I could,
it's so funny. I came home and looked up jobs available. It's the only one in the world right now. It is the first, and they're going to open one in Dallas. She said in a few weeks. And I was like, well, I could manage that one. I'll just move to Dallas. But
you would be the best game show host ever.
Our guy Josh was super fun. So yeah, it was. We did that, and then Saturday night went to Nashville Nightmares, which God, I wish you were here. You would have loved it.
Oh, I would have hated
that. Good haunted house.
I would have sat in the car. Wait,
babe, we pulled up. So this
scary one.
Yeah, it's a haunted house. What were the other options? Oh no, it's the comedy haunted house. Da 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 da. Boo!
No, like the world's scariest one. Where
no, but that was McCamey. I didn't read 40 pages.
Oh yeah,
and I didn't agree to get my teeth removed.
Yeah. Okay. No. So haunted house.
Haunted house. Scary. It's in an old Books a Million, which gave me comfort because if I was getting too scared, I was like, this is probably the horror section.
And I know the exit.
Yeah.
I know where the exit is.
It was fun. I mean, haunted houses this was 5 haunted houses under one roof. So you'd go into one was themed like pirates, and one was, dead nuns. The first one, terrifying. Second one, scary. Third one, I was like, by the 5th one, I was just, I was introducing myself to staff. I'm like, who does your makeup? You look great. If you can get rid of one vegetable off the planet, where would you get rid of it? So it was really fun. It's really funny to me, haunted houses, because the group of us, I think there were 5 of us, everybody reacts differently. Like Jesse was unfazed. It was almost like he was on a party bus, hysterically laughing, never jumped once. I mean, and I was in a fetal position, having to be pulled most of the way. I had my hat down. I wore a hat so people would think I was straight. And I had my ears covered because if I didn't hear the screams, it was awful.
They were out of sight, out of mind.
But I mean, it was fun. I left. I was, jacked up at that point. I'm like, let's go.
So Opry Mills and Book a Million.
I mean,
who would have thought a weekend?
I mean, I do it all.
Oh, that's great. Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Halloween is a great time for you. You're very creative.
I try to
which
be.
Is, you are. Your place is decked out. You're very creative.
I try to be.
There we go.
What about dating? I haven't asked you lately.
Oh, are you baiting me?
What does that mean?
I don't
know. To you. Am I like?
I guess that question.
There's a little date.
Dangling the old
No,
carrot,
you've talked about your matchmaker stuff and dating. I didn't know. Have you been on any dates?
No, not through the matchmaker. Not lately. So we touch base every 2 to 3 weeks on what's going on. Like 1 week she'll call and be like, I think I have this eligible bachelor. I'm going to present, you to him, like my profile, right? And if you don't hear back, it like they didn't even.
Why does she even need to tell you that?
Well, she's like,
I found the perfect man. He's gorgeous. Never mind. He said, hell no.
5'7"? No.
No.
No, but there's times where she'll call me and it's like, okay, this is his profile, this is where he lives. And I'll be like, sounds great, but I don't know if I want to go there, or I don't know if I want to travel there. So it could be something like that too.
Yeah. So because they're from all over the US.
Right.
Is it international or just national?
I think it's national, like domestic.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So we touch base, and it's a very slow moving process. But yeah, that's about it. A couple dates here and there, but nothing to write home about. You know what gets me is, I've said this before, but complete sentences need to be like a rule.
In terms of what?
In like chatting, like dating, right? So you need to reply with a complete sentence. And if somebody sends you a voice memo, you send one back. Because I have a lot. I just get pissed off a lot. I don't know if y'all do. Y'all feel this way too, but I get pissed off on dating apps just because people are, I don't know, just weird.
So meaning you have sent a message recently and you got a one-word answer?
Correct. That's inappropriate. It's like people that speed. It's trashy. It's like people
speed all the time.
Well, it's trashy. Don't do that. Like when they're swerving in and out of people, and then you see them at the stoplight.
You've never gone over the speed limit.
No, I meant recklessly.
Okay, well, you didn't say that. You said speed, which we've all done.
Which means recklessly.
No, you got to say it.
No,
you got to speak in complete sentences.
I think it is complete trash, period.
To weave in and out of traffic.
Yeah, that, and it relates to one-word answers. Like you should just, okay, it probably doesn't relate. But yeah, it's late. I'm tired. But no, but I just think if we're chatting online, you're like, I had a great day. How was yours? Good. There's so many things. One guy was trying to like show me like all the celebrities he knew, and it was just a turnoff. I'm like, I don't.
How is he showing you? He's sending you pictures of him with the celebrities.
Inappropriate.
It's not inappropriate. It's just not in your mind. It was too much.
Weird. Yeah, because I want to get to know you, not who you know. And it was just kind of odd.
Was there anybody good that he knew that we could use on the podcast?
No.
Okay, so it wasn't that good.
I'm friends with all celebrities.
Okay.
And I didn't ask, and then he started showing pictures. I'm like, I don't know who they are. And they might be. I'm like, I don't know.
Like, this was on season 14 of Grey's Anatomy. She was a nurse. She was amazing.
In one episode. But yeah. How about
I think the one word answer, I do it though. Like, it depends on, everything's about timing. We've said this before in dating. Like, if I get a message on Tinder and I am not in any way available to like have a full on discussion, then my way of kind of shutting that down quickly, not shutting it down, but like letting them know I can't talk right now, maybe just a one word or a simple answer, because there's a 12 to 14 hour period during the day that I really don't respond on text messages or anything. But I might do a quick one. Like if you texted me, I'd respond yes or sure or good luck or love you, something like that.
Right.
So I do those.
But I think with dating apps, I think if I'm getting ready to go into a meeting and I happen to be chatting with someone, or if it's up front, if it happens to be in the morning, I will let them know. I'm like, I don't respond between 8 and 5. Just kind of setting that out there because I like to communicate. I'm a really good communicator. I think. I hope. I don't know. And I want to let people know that it's not like I go through and message people, hey, I work 8 to 5. But if we're happen to chat, then, but I try not to in the mornings. I try. So at nights, my kind of,
but maybe they work night jobs.
Oh, sure.
And
maybe I'm not mad if they don't respond because I'm one of those, like,
you would rather them not respond than a one word answer. It's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But is a sentence. It was good. Because that's a complete sentence.
So if
you said, how was your day? And I wrote back, it was good. Does that work?
Yeah, I don't expect great, but what's the next part of the conversation?
Okay.
Like,
buy me dinner.
We're going to a Charlie's.
We're going to a Charlie's.
But when you, like, if you're interviewing somebody and I would not hire them.
Yeah, babe. You're holding people to the standard of like a professional career where I'm not suggesting that you don't want to be with somebody that's not professional or that can't communicate. But if the guy's like jumping on an airplane and his phone's about to turn off and he just writes back good, and you're like, hey, get out of here. I hate you. You're dead to me. but he could have been the love of your life, but you didn't have the patience to wait for another answer. So I would just suggest maybe wait and see if there's multiple one-word answers.
Right.
And if there's consistent one-word answers, then you berate them in front of
Yeah.
their family.
Well, I just don't respond. I don't. Yeah, I will show up at their Thanksgiving and just go all off on them. But no, I don't do it after the first time because I do understand that.
I got you.
Or
Okay,
if it's
so
or if it's not a response, I assume people are busy. They're in
Sure.
the shower. They're at work. They're at a charity event. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I just think if you're chatting, and like for me, I'm like, oh, I'm headed into meetings.
Yeah.
You know, I'm busy the rest of the day. Or hey, what are you doing this week? Hey, I have a lot going on. I'll be back next week. I would just kind of give it out there. So I think everybody should kind of give that.
Speaking of
courtesy.
celebrities, who's the celebrity that you would just die to meet?
Oh man, there's a lot of them.
Just pick one that you're just like, I would literally shit my pants.
Okay, top of the list,
Yep.
Oprah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So here's the question. Would you rather have a full meal with Oprah? I mean, the whole shebang, whether that's 18 courses or whatever, full meal with Oprah, or get $500,000?
Ooh. Like I feel like having a moment with Oprah would give me the knowledge to make more than $500,000.
So what's your answer?
$500,000.
You would take the 500,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was
I flip flopped right there.
No, but you talked it out loud. I like that. There was a news story recently involving Jay-Z. There was a social media post in 2021 where the question was, would you rather have one meal with Jay-Z and pick his brain or get $500,000? And for the last several years, this post has been like gaining momentum and all that. And so recently he was interviewed about this. And he said, take the 500,000. And I was trying to think what celebrity would I choose, or anybody would I choose to have dinner with over 500,000? I cannot think of a person that is alive or dead that I would choose. Can you?
No, because I mean, 500,000 is life changing.
Yeah.
And then there's so much more that can come from that.
That was his answer. It was like, take the 500,000, buy all my albums and listen, because that's my story. And you'll learn from that. You don't.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's something about the art of conversation and being one-on-one with someone and learning their story.
Yeah.
500,000.
I agree. But like what you said about Oprah, same thing. Like if I had dinner with Beyonce, I would definitely choose the 500,000. But there's in my mind, I'm like, I bet I could turn her. Like she would be on me. She'd be like, do you want to run the backstage area during my next tour? Like there may be opportunity. Do you want to be a backup dancer? I know you're older than most of ours, by 20 years, and you can't dance as well. But
what if you took the 500,000, invested it well, or even you didn't even have to invest it? You know, those charities you go to, and then for like 50,000, you have a date with someone. You know, people put themselves up for auction. And they're like, oh,
that's
50
what I
grand.
should do. I should auction myself off.
You could auction. There you go, Philip.
Where are we going to do this?
I don't know. We can go
Broadway.
to Sonny's.
Oh, you're trying to get me a hot straight guy.
Yeah, we'll get you a hot straight guy on college game days.
$1, starting at one. Nope. I was starting at 50 cents.
Then we'll work our way back up. You just got to get the momentum and the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. But the art of conversation.
Yeah,
which is like what we do.
I agree. So for me, it's a no. I'm taking the 500,000. But I'm going to tell people. I'm going to brag about it. Jay-Z wanted to do dinner with me, and I didn't.
You took the money.
I'm sorry.
I mean, look at you.
I mean, 500,000 is not a ton anymore. I mean, it would last.
Well, you watch the Dave Ramsey, and these people call in to say, "Hey, I'm this age. I have this in the bank. Can I retire?" And it's never enough. Not in today's world, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Speaking of where you live, I know a couple episodes ago we talked about the Franklin, Tennessee mayoral race.
Gabrielle.
And I'll tell you, when I was in Austin last weekend, people were asking me about it. Like a lot of attention. And they were political people, but they're like, what is going on? So drum roll.
Hold on.
I don't have
a drum roll. I've only got this. Hey!
Well, we will celebrate.
Yes.
We will celebrate
Let's
because
celebrate.
Dr. Ken Moore is the winner.
Hallelujah.
Yes, he easily defeated Gabrielle Hansen, which, if you remember the episode, Gabrielle, she also went by Janelle. She also went by another name. And then she had what? The money laundering,
prostitution. She found the Lord in Chicago. She didn't like Juneteenth. She thought that free mom hugs was desensitizing kids so that we can rape them.
Yeah. And she wanted to make Franklin a better place to live, even though it's an
yeah,
amazing
really
place to
did.
live, by the way. Yeah, she didn't like that people celebrate Juneteenth. And she also surrounds herself with out public white supremacist. But anyway, the crazy thing about it is, unfortunately, there was only a 15% voter turnout, but 12,822 people voted for Dr. Ken Moore. And for Hansen, 3,000. Whoa. 3,322. Yeah, so she lost. So
3,322 idiots voted
Franklin
for this crazy maniacal woman.
Yeah, that's only a 15% voter turnout.
That's kind of embarrassing.
Population is 85,000 people, and that was as of the last census 2 years ago. So, I mean, you're tipping probably 95,000 people in Franklin. And that brings up to me, like, voting is so important. And this is a clear, I mean, he beat her by, I don't know, almost 10,000 votes. So it's like, why don't people vote? I mean, there's early voting, there's voting day of, you can mail it in. I don't understand.
I think a lot of times, a lot of people, it's first of all, it's not a priority. They don't think their vote counts. They don't, things are too crazy to even get involved. You know, like, it's just like, it's
like
too
a lost cause.
It's just like, what would I do? Like, there's no way my vote would matter.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness the smart people voted. But I mean, I just wonder what she's doing right now. Do you think she's going to do some kind of like the election was rigged like Trump did, where she like demands
this one?
She's like, Venezuela was in charge of the voting booths and they're the ones that caused the problem.
I looked at all the other races. I don't know. I don't have those wrote down, but I mean, all the other, because she had to give up her city council seat to run for mayor. So somebody else got that seat.
What's
so
she going to do?
She's just out and about, just with white supremacists and burning crosses, I guess. I don't know. But all of them won. Like one race, like some guy had like 8,500 votes. His opponent had like 3,000. So these races weren't even close. And most people down there are Republicans, but they support Pride. They allow Pride and all that stuff. So I'm kind of confident on Franklin and ousting the white supremacist, which is great.
We did have sort of harsh words for Dr. Ken Moore in one of our episodes where we talked about Franklin Pride, and I stand by those. Like, I don't think his tone that he used to talk about Pride was appropriate. But I'm very glad and grateful that he's
right. And I was thinking about that too, because now that he's won, and he actually, in his speech during the debate with Gabrielle Hansen, he did talk about inclusivity and knowing people from different backgrounds and races and colors and countries. So, you know, I stand with you. His tone was way off, but you know, maybe he's living and learning like we are every day. And once he is faced with an opponent like this, that may, I think, through some shockwaves in Franklin.
You do know that his campaign manager listens to the podcast.
Dr. Ken Moore's. Oh, we love him. Hi.
No, I mean, I have to change
who is that?
Well, I don't know if she wants. I don't know if she wants to.
Why did I ask? Where does she live?
What's her address? No,
I was just
she's been
off
listening since the beginning, and she's great. So
oh wow!
I didn't realize she
so
was
great.
the campaign manager. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
but
anyway,
no, yeah, but no, I really do feel that. Even though I always feel safe in Franklin. We've said that on other episodes. I love going to Franklin. I would live in Franklin. Yes, it's more Republican. Yes, it's more conservative, but I don't have to throw my sexuality in people's faces, and they don't in ours. And like we said on that episode, we don't need flags all up and down the street.
Yeah,
it's a great place. And I just love that debate. He said so many great things, and you can tell he was true to his heart. So
yeah,
congrats,
totally agree.
Dr. Ken Moore.
Do you know, you've flown internationally before.
Mm-hmm.
When you fly internationally, what makes you nervous?
Terrorists and guns.
And so any,
Like when you land at an airport, I'll never forget, we landed at this airport and they had like machine guns. And this is like pre 9/11.
where were you?
Mexico.
Hmm.
I've never been to like Ireland or anywhere over
That's your
there.
one,
I
that's your
want to go
one
to
country.
Ireland.
The one
Oh.
country. I've never been to Ireland.
And now I want to go to Portugal because my office mate was talking about Portugal and moving there. And I'm like, oh my God, Lisbon. So I want to go there. And that's by Malaga, Spain.
It is?
By
I mean, yeah,
our
it's-
friend.
yeah.
Simona. Why do you ask the question before I went off on my rant?
Well, I mean, I do want to go to Ireland too. But I always get super nervous with anything that involves TSA, customs, especially customs. And I've watched that show Locked Up Abroad, which is where innocent,
Oh, yeah.
usually innocent Americans or something, they go to another country and then someone puts 150 pounds of heroin in their bag and they have to go to customs, they get caught, right? But if you declare what you have, then you can't get arrested generally for that kind of stuff. Now, you don't want to declare heroin, of course. You can get arrested for that. But the point of customs is to declare what you're bringing back from another country because they don't want you bringing things that plants that might cause problems in our agriculture or animals that cause problems, So there is a story yesterday of a woman from Iowa who returned from her trip to Kenya. She went down on one of those safaris and she decided to bring giraffe feces in a shoebox back to the United States. And do you know why? Any guesses?
Probably feces, manure for her garden.
That is a perfect guess. It is completely wrong.
Why would she want giraffe feces?
She wanted to make jewelry.
There's a lot going on at this Somerville home. There are 2 adults, 3 kids, more than 60 animals, including some fish, and a whole bunch of moose turds. Mary Winchenbach runs Turdy Works. It's art made from the stuff that moose leave behind.
Everyone takes a crap. Everyone goes to the bathroom, so everyone can relate to that. And the terms that I use to name these products are everyday terms that, people are used to hearing and stuff. So it just kind of, you just try to, combine the two to come up with something halfway decent that's funny,
Wait for this.
For example, the first thing that we make now, instead of a cuckoo clock, see, this is a poo-poo clock. And what we did see is we took them turds and we crammed them in between the number there. So that's 132, 33, 30.
That's just one of many products she offers.
Okay. So that was not the woman, but that's an example. I had no idea. If you Google poop jewelry, there is an incredible amount of websites on Etsy and Instagram that are selling poop jewelry. And the number one here in America is moose poop.
So what do they put it? They put it in watches. They
put earrings. I'm
So
going to
does
show
it,
Wes
like,
a picture of this.
calcify, or
Yeah.
like calcified wood, not calcified.
Yeah,
but
so it's
like-
actually not. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's like a.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't
They-
know that.
I
Was
don't know.
feces.
Yeah, so she
Hanging from your. That's kind of weird.
first of all, did she pick up the giraffe poop? Did she have a glove on? Was she in a car and she was like, "Hey, do you mind pulling over real quick? I see what I think is giraffe poop, and I'd like to take it back
she
with
jumped
me."
off the safari van.
Yep.
Right, just jumped over the side.
She had her shoebox with her.
Was it hard, or has it already hardened?
Yeah.
Because back home, back in the day, people would play with cow feces.
You could skip them
Like,
across the pond.
Yeah, the ones they hardened, or they were like bases for a ball game,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe it was hard and calcified already. I don't think that's the right word, but it's kind of like wood that's been in a river for a long time. It's really pretty.
like petrified.
Petrified. There you go.
Yeah. So she took it. She was trying to take it back to Iowa to make jewelry. She did claim it on her customs form, so she was not arrested. She would have been if she had tried to sneak
good.
it back in.
That's
But
kind of.
but then the
arrested for that.
yeah, my favorite part is the agency's agricultural specialist destroyed the giraffe poop.
Good.
can we talk through how does one destroy giraffe poop?
I just
Isn't
threw
it
it
just
away.
throwing it away? They have
He's
like a
"It is
giraffe poop
destroyed.
incinerator. Take it down. The level 2 to the giraffe poop incinerator.
But it could bring back diseases and
Glad
stuff like
you
that.
said that. African swine fever, classical swine fever, Newcastle disease. No idea what that is. Foot and mouth, and swine vesicular disease. So,
Yeah,
I
and then
I
it
get
gets
why
into
they
the
don't
water.
want it. I just find it really interesting that
Because in the States, there's a law that in Tennessee, you cannot take a skunk over Tennessee line
is it because
because it's invasive species. Like we shouldn't
Mm.
have armadillos here, but we do because they walked here or something.
yeah, probably did.
And they are invasive. It's kind of like plants, right? So it's kind of funny that, but talking about drugs, like you have to check your luggage. Like if you are in a hotel and you check your bags and you're like, I'm gonna go sightseeing, then you go pick up your bags and you go to the airport. Like you don't know if
I've never checked my bags.
I don't either. It could be a Brittany Griner thing.
I
Where
need to start
you're
checking my bags.
yeah, I would like so scared about that there's something in there. And it's only been since Brittany Griner that I've ever thought of it. And this moment right now.
Did I tell you about the TSA guy that pulled me at LAX?
No.
Yeah, I get pulled for the thorough security check.
Because you're 2 bottles deep.
Because, well, I definitely fit a security threat, profile. I'm an older, pale gay man with frail arms. And they're like, terrorist! And I'm immediately nervous because I just assume I'm a drug smuggler. Like someone has put something, and I'm like, this is it.
Me.
This is it. I'll never see my family again. I'll end up in an LA prison, which not the worst place to be. Have you seen some of the pictures? Anyway, so he opens my toiletries bag and he pulls out my melatonin and he shakes it and he's like, what's this? I said, melatonin. He goes, you sure? I said, yeah. He's like, well, people do try to hide, illegal substances in pill bottles and they hide other pills.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be anything. It could be Viagra and I said, what?
Is that
what?
That's
I said,
illegal?
first of all, it's not illegal. And do I look like I need Viagra? And his response, without even looking up, goes, well, lots of older dudes do. Like, what a bitch.
If it wasn't TSA, you would have snatched that bag and said, give me my bag.
What he didn't know is my Viagra was in another pouch.
So joke's on
him. You, Larry.
Yeah, if anybody's going to take a plane down, it's Phil.
Yeah, it's me. You know me. Speaking of taking a plane down.
Do we have fun facts about taking a plane down?
Girl, this was a news story 2 days ago. An off-duty pilot gets onto an Alaskan airline flight. He's sitting in, and I don't understand jump seat completely, but it's a jump seat in the cockpit. So a pilot, I guess, can ride with another, like in the back, like behind the two pilot and co-pilot and all that. So he gets on an Alaskan airline flight going to, I think it was San Francisco. I may have made that up. His name was Joseph David Emerson. He gets on, and within a few minutes, once they're in the air, he pulls the handle of the fire suppression system, which is used to stop the engine if it's on fire. And then the plane goes into glide mode. No engines, it just glides, which means, ultimate death. It's going to crash. So the pilot and co-pilot have to wrestle this guy. It doesn't take long. They get him to the back of the plane, and he says to the flight attendant, you need to handcuff me right now. Now, this is a pilot for Alaskan Airlines. He said, handcuff me. They handcuff him, and he sits in the back because he said something bad's about to happen. So they have no idea. So they make an emergency landing. It turns out Joseph Emerson, 44, was high on mushrooms. He had taken mushrooms like the day before or a day and a half before, still feeling it, and was in a dream, he says, and decided that in order to end the dream, he was going to pull the lever. So he was so messed up in his head.
Wow.
So they land the plane, they get him off. He's charged with 83 counts of attempted murder because of that, 83 people on the flight.
Because of shrooms.
because of shrooms.
Wow. Whole
So-
life ruined.
And my question is, like, are we talking to these pilots? Like, if they're like, "Hey,
I'm gonna sit up here.
Justin, I gotta take the jump seat." Are we asking, like,
'cause-
have you slept? Have you done mushrooms? Are you high on anything? Who have you killed recently?
I mean, because I think you would be acting weird unless you're on shrooms and you're like really quiet, and they're like, "Oh, he's like
Yeah.
a quiet guy." But was he dressed the uniform? Was he dressed the part? Did he go through
I
pre-check?
don't know a ton. I'm sure he went through. I
Like-
mean, he's got to go through all the security. He doesn't.
So
get around
maybe I
security.
want to know, like, if you're on shrooms, can't you know? Like, wouldn't everybody else know? Maybe not.
I don't know. I think my biggest fear is that if somebody like if somebody, I'm a pilot and somebody's like, "Hey, Larry wants to ride the jump seat." If I don't know Larry, I don't know his personality. If he's quiet
Yeah.
and acting weird, I'm like, Larry's weird.
Yeah.
But I don't assume he's high on mushrooms while I
And
take
gonna
off.
kill people.
Right.
I've only done portobellos. I've only
Oh,
done
I see what you did
portobellos.
there. I see what you
Yeah,
did there.
isn't that great?
You've never done a shiitake or a morel.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Hold on. There were portobellos in the.
There were maybe. I think there was shiitake in the vegan
we're
dish.
changing now.
Yeah. Well, I forgot about that species.
Yeah.
Do you know mushrooms have this whole network under the soil? And
Mhm.
They talk to each other.
That
Kind
was
of
a
like
great
trees.
documentary.
Yeah, and ants and stuff like that.
I did mushrooms years ago, and it was not a bad experience. I didn't do a ton, just a little, and all I'll remember is I cried for an hour and a half because the ceiling fan was the most beautiful ceiling fan that I'd ever seen. And I remember every time I would see that ceiling fan, I had this just like super positive.
Wow. Did you just want to pull the chain?
No,
to
I just
make the
laid
dream
there just
end,
crying
like Larry did.
and just staring. But anyway, could we make a deal maybe with all the other people in the airline industry? Let's just not let people in the cockpit. I don't want to worry the next flight I'm on that Jerry or Kara or whatever, were high on something.
Yeah.
And I mean, if he had pulled it completely, it would have shut it off. You can't turn it back on, I guess. So
Yeah. Does a plane can you glide or does it fall?
no, you can glide, but like,
then
the
if you're over
airplane
water-
that you make where you do that, and it
Yeah.
glides, so you can kind of control it. But like, where do you
But then,
land?
like, but yeah, if you're not close to the airport, you're just gliding to glide. People are crazy.
Well, Joseph David Emerson was going to be under the jail, probably.
yeah, I think he'll be there for quite some time.
Bye bye.
Speaking of illegal stuff,
Ooh,
speaking of which,
you just did one.
so crazy laws, the skunk, right? It's just a crazy law. That one's not a crazy law, but who's going to carry a skunk over state lines?
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sure
if
somewhere
you
in Tennessee,
what if you ran over a skunk at the border on the interstate,
it
but your
flew.
car was on the other side,
Yeah.
and you were just
I'm thinking like who has a pet skunk, but people have pet peacocks and stuff like that. Did you know it's illegal to shoot a whale
in Tennessee
out of a car in Tennessee?
Why is that a
And
thing?
people question why we are 49th in the country
Why is that a
for
thing?
education.
Are there any whales?
No, there's
there
like
whales in-
carp and Percy Priest Lake,
Are there
maybe
whales
some
in-
catfish.
In any of the aquariums?
Yeah,
like-
but out of a car, you can't.
I'm just
shoot them
saying,
out
like,
of
what
a
if you
car.
rammed your car into the aquarium?
and then shot it? Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
You
that's
go
illegal.
into the aquarium.
Also, running
in-
into an aquarium is
in
illegal.
Chattanooga, right? Also, I was just like down this rabbit hole the other day. Since holding hands is a gateway to sexual activity, sure.
God, I'll hold hands with anybody at this point.
I am that desperate. It's illegal to hold hands on school grounds, and that was only established in 2012.
It's illegal to hold hand on school grounds.
On school grounds. It did not say ages. It did
But
not say
this is just
anything.
Tennessee.
This is a Tennessee state law.
So I can't hold hands with anybody. What if I'm blind
Oh,
and they're leading me down the hallway?
You'll have sex with them.
Yeah, it's
You will
probably true.
definitely have sex with them.
Yeah.
Women living together, if there's more than 8, it's still a hostel, like it was in 1875, apparently. So many laws that need to be updated. I doubt they're ever are they enforced? Or
I'm trying to think if I know of
There's no
8 girls
way.
that live in one place other than a sorority house. But that's definitely a brothel.
Nashville made the news about a teacher. And this was the other day. A
she
teacher,
drunk?
nope. She chastised a student made the student change because that student was wearing her sorority letters. Now, this is like a high school or a grade school. And then she got in trouble because the protocol is with gangs and stuff, you can't wear like any lettering on your shirts,
I get that.
right?
So you should be across the board then.
Yes, but the protocol that the school was going to reinforce and have training with this educator is you have to call the parents, discuss it, and say, we are going to change this child into a school appropriate polo or t-shirt or whatever. But I get her side of it. Like a sorority is a sacred thing. A fraternity is a sacred thing. Like no one should wear those letters.
I mean, I don't know. I see them all the time, like at Goodwill and stuff like that. There's fraternity and sorority stuff. Like I wouldn't wear it to think I was cool, but it's like,
well, and if this was like high school or middle school, right? And the parents did go to Goodwill, that was my first thought. I'm like, what if this kid doesn't even know what it is?
Yeah.
And this lady like berated this kid. And I'm like, okay, I get the fraternity thing and sorority thing. Absolutely. We earned it. We were there. We were in it. And what it holds is like if you picked up a shirt, one of my Sigma Chi shirts, you'd be like, okay, it has an EX on it. Okay, great. But to me, it holds a different meaning.
Yeah.
Same with stuff that holds meaning with you that I've not been through, right? But if this child's kids or this child's parents were at Goodwill and just was like, oh, this is a shirt.
Yeah.
It's clean. It looks great. It's colorful. It's Kappa Alpha Psi, I think was the sorority. And in this child, that's all they had to wear. I think it was very, very wrong.
Oh,
But
for sure.
She went at it like, that's my sorority. And you're going to take that off.
When you say you've earned it, like sororities and fraternities earn it, what does that mean?
You go through the initiation process. You go through the pledging process. You're picked to pledge. And then you go through, I think back when I was in school, it was like 8 weeks, or maybe it was a full semester. And then we were pinned the following semester after Christmas break. So you go through a lot of like serious like learning and know the history and bonding with the
so
brothers.
You memorize the
right
rules and
not so much rules, but it was like a bond.
Yeah,
it was like a bond that you experienced together. Like if you went to a summer camp with your brothers and I come in, I'm like, oh yeah, canoeing's great. But you're like, I have so many great memories and we helped each other.
Yeah.
And it was, it's not like this exclusive thing. I mean, at some schools it is. At our school, we were like very open. We invited other people to our parties. We just wanted to have fun and be all inclusive. And it was good for recruitment. And we just wanted to, be nice and have fun. But it is that very sacred and be like, God, I am part of this. But people that don't get it, they don't care, which is probably
I mean, I understand that fraternities are important to most people. And I see I see some adults who are very connected with their fraternities and sororities now. But most, I think, are just like they tell stories about when they were in those fraternities and sororities. And I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, and it can go either way. I'm close to still a lot of the guys in my fraternity. And the crazy thing, we have that bond that'll never break for sure. But you still lose contact with people. But like our 35th anniversary at my university's coming up, and so many people are excited to go back and relive stories and relive those times. I'm sure there'll be a football game that weekend as well. So the tailgating, it's kind of like going back to any reunion. It's so much. It's just like that. It's so much fun. But it was like I'll never forget. I was in my apartment. I had 2 roommates, Steve and Bangy and John Suter. Showed up.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Bangy. Yeah, the 3 guys.
Bangy.
Brendan was his name. We called him Bangy. I don't know why. Now I kind of know why. I never thought of it until right now. But anyway, they showed up and they knocked on the door. Me and my 2 roommates were playing video games. And they knocked on the door and I went out and they were all dressed in pin dress, which was suit and tie. And they're like, we as Sigma Chi want to present you with a bid to rush. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I got picked, right? And so I signed my bid right then and there, went back in, and one of my roommates did not talk to me for the rest of that school year. He's like, you're in a fraternity, you've changed. And I'm like, I just came back in the door. Like, and
came
I'm like,
back talking British.
Down. I'm like, I'm better than most of you bitches. Like, where the
so
hose at?
Was he just jealous that he didn't get?
He did not. This guy, oh my God, this guy hated female comics. I don't know why. Yeah, he's like, I don't think any female is funny. And I'm like, what the freak are you? And then this happened. Literally, I walked back in the door, Philip, and he's like, "You've changed. You're a frat guy now." And I'm like, "I am a fraternity gentleman." And I'm not even yet. I had to go through the pledge period. I did ask if I could pay more and not go through pledging. I'm like, "Can I just be a member? Can I pay more?"
Did you have that kind of money?
No,
When I was in
didn't have
college, I was like,
I was going to take out a loan, so I didn't have to do it. Thank God I went through the pledge ship because, well, A, you had to, but that's where all the fun memories came from,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, he was so upset. So people don't like fraternities and sororities. I get it. You know, I don't know where this was spawned off of, but yeah, he got so mad at me, did not talk to me until our senior year. And then he's like, "Oh, you guys raise money for charity?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we do that doesn't involve drinking." He's like, "Oh, that's actually really cool." But there were a lot of people, because I was on the bowling team. I quit the bowling team, and there were a lot of them that didn't talk to me because I had changed. And I'm like, "No, I haven't changed. I'm not traveling."
well, there is a certain, I don't even know what the word is. Like, I wasn't a part of fraternity, had no desire to do it, but the people who didn't do have a certain mentality towards fraternities. And I think there are some fraternities and sororities that do amazing work. I'm sure there is, but you don't hear a lot about that piece. You hear a
No,
lot about the other stuff, the hazing,
Yeah.
all the negative stuff, the macho, get women to your parties. That's maybe where they're coming from, because they've
And-
only heard
yeah.
of the negative pieces and they don't know all
And it
that y'all
almost
do.
prepped me for coming out, because there's so much stigma thrown on our community. Because like, "Oh, I knew a gay guy once and he had AIDS," or, "Oh, I knew a gay guy once and he only slept with like tons of men and he was a co-core," and all this stuff. Like, so many fraternities, like, okay, football teams do it, rugby teams do it. The only teams that got in trouble with drugs, or the only people that got in trouble with drugs at my university, were the rugby and football teams. But then the Greek letters, we get discriminated against so much, because it's the what is that thing you look through? Magnifying glass is like right on you, because like, "Oh, you're in a fraternity." So everybody thinks you think you're better than everybody else. And it's like, once you put those letters on, you just have a target on your back. And a lot of communities have that. We have that.
Yeah.
Colored people have that. Other sorority, or what other communities have that in different ways, But yeah, I was discriminated against. And I think that kind of prep me for coming out, because then I knew I was going to have this stigma placed on me. And I'm like, shit, I've already been through that.
I've already pledged. Sig
I've already been through
Epsilons.
that. No, Sigma Chi.
Sigma
The better
Chi's.
one.
Oh,
The way
I don't
better
know.
one.
I don't even know the difference. The letters all look weird to me, so whatever.
There's one more crazy law.
Oh, yes.
That I thought of you.
Oh.
Because you grew up on a horse farm.
Okay.
Well, sheep farm became a horse farm, right? Or whatever you did.
Thanks for paying
I know
attention.
him so well, y'all.
Yeah. He always listens
Didn't you have
and
sheep
remembers
or-
everything.
It is illegal. And I want to know if you know this.
I do.
Why it's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket in Tennessee.
Because a cow will lick it.
Close, actually.
What is it?
That's how people would steal horses. Because horses were a commodity. They still are very expensive, majestic animal. But they would put that ice cream cone in their back pocket, and a horse would follow it, and then they would take it to the trailer and take it. And it is illegal.
What is that? Horse, like
luring.
Cow? No, there's a word for it.
It's like there's a van with curtains that says free candy.
No, what is the word? Cattle. Shoot.
Wrangling.
No. I gotta look it up.
Wrangle it.
Got to wrangle it.
Wrangle it. That's so crazy.
I am kind of over. Have you dealt with any emotional support animals recently?
We just had a call about this. Literally yesterday, Philip.
First of all, why do so many people need an emotional support?
They're fucked up.
Animal.
I have other reasons.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're all fucked up.
All. Okay. I just said that I had a target on my back. Not every people that deserve them and that go through the proper channels should be awarded one.
Yeah,
absolutely. The ones that abuse it are fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, even on my most recent flight, there were 3 emotional support animals. And then I can't help but just judge the person. Like, you must be an absolute basket case. Look at her. She's obviously depressed.
What were the animals?
It was
Like a
dogs,
donkey.
but it made me want to look into what else has been. But it's been everything: peacock, llama, this one, an alligator.
No,
Mhm.
see, that's where the buck stops.
Nope, it did
Y'all,
not. An emotional support alligator went to see the Phillies game last night. A 6-foot-long, 55-pound alligator named Willie, wearing a harness
Really?
and a leash and a sign that said emotional support animal, walked into the Citizens Bank Park during the Phillies game on Wednesday night. Now, Wally is the alligator. He has 115,000 followers on TikTok, 27,000 followers on Instagram, which is shocking to me that an alligator.
Mhm.
You know my
Yeah, being death row.
it is. I cannot imagine. So this guy, his name is Joey Henney. He said he rescued the alligator, and the alligator helped him through several deaths in his family, and him going through a cancer scare. I think it was prostate cancer that he had. So I don't want to take away from the fact that he had some help hugging on a fucking alligator.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. But I'm on a plane and this alligator walks on the plane and says emotional support, and I have to be okay with that,
Where
I'm going to pull the emergency lever in the cockpit and we're going to glide to our death because I'm terrified of those things. Who's got an alligator and how are they emotionally supporting you?
this has gone too far. It's gone absolutely too far. What are our rights as another citizen that's in a place with you, a baseball game, an airplane, that now we have to put up with that? Like, where are our rights? I don't understand that
Yep.
at all. The ESA conversation we were having is in our high rises, apartment communities, it's just getting crazier and crazier, and everybody gets like a letter and from online. Well, we have a whole new system that it has to, like, the doctor has to call in. It has to be actually legit because people just don't want to pay the pet fees, right? Their dog can shut up the apartment and they can use like the dog park, but they don't want to pay the fees. But we're trying to make people honest, because if you need an ESA and you have a couple cats that help keep you calm and your anxiety, absolutely, a dog, whatever it is, a parrot. But then you're getting into peacocks, you're getting into donkeys, you're getting into llamas, which
You would
you know
be
what,
okay with that.
I would be fine with an alpaca.
Yeah.
Fine. But they're herd animals and they need acreage. But yeah, we're kind of putting our foot down to that because the people that need them will have the appropriate documentation. But one of my friends got his dog as an ESA just so it could fly. And I'm like, for free. And I'm like, well, that's wrong.
I
He's
had a
football player, so I know.
conversation when I was in Raleigh with some person who was telling me that he has a pit bull mix with something else. He just moved into an apartment. And then he found an online website that would, within seconds, give him an emotional support animal certificate so that he could keep a pit bull in an apartment.
Mhm. That's what we're running up against.
So what's the point of emotion? How do I trust that this animal is an emotional support animal and not just the fact that you, don't have friends and so you've got to hang out with your freaking puppy
Yeah.
all the time?
Those are a restricted breed. But a lot of times people are trying to get away from the payment or the restricted breed part of it, but they're still responsible for any damages, any bites, anything like that. So yeah, it's starting to stricken up. But there were so many times the past probably 3 to 5 years, we accepted everything because we were scared about a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So again, our world's gone a little bit too far here. Like, oh, we got approved for the new stadium. Tennessee Titans are getting the big Superdome, right? So now it's going to hold 60,000 seats. It'll be fully covered, so we'll probably have a Super Bowl here, which will be really, really cool. What are they going to allow, right? So not only are
Emotional support alligators.
like, and it's Tennessee, someone could probably bring their horse to the game, but it makes you think about that. It makes you think, what will Nashville do? What will we do as we move on with society, as we go further down? And it's like, where are our rights?
Or where do you stop?
That's the thing.
And I'm sure there's people out there who need them. I get it. But Who's deciding
Right.
who needs it,
And
who
the ar-
doesn't? And
Right.
an alligator.
Well, the argument's
What is?
not to
Are you
help
training
people.
the alligator? Like, what is the
Yeah.
alligator doing?
No, like that
Go-
and
go get- go
snakes and
fetch.
stuff. Yeah, that and snakes, you can't tell their temperament. Everybody says you can, you can't. Like dogs and cats and horses and elephants. Absolutely, yeah, you can see their personalities and all this.
Go to the
But
zoo.
yeah, absolutely.
Go
It's
to
one of
the
those.
zoo.
They're,
My
you should
dad
get a-
always said, no matter how close you get with your animals, no matter how wonderful they are, how kind, how much they listen, all of that, you are 1 second away from being mauled to death, which is a little, I mean, he didn't say it exactly like that, but the gist was, I mean, he had a friend who was killed by his
Wow.
dog because his wife sprayed a water hose on the dog, oh no, on the husband as a joke, and the dog took it as a threat.
Wait, that happened in real
Mhm.
life?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, emotional support alligator, no for me.
Yeah, we got to stop somewhere.
Gotta be done.
We
Gotta be
got to
done.
stop somewhere. Just like stopping here. I'm tired.
I'm exhausted.
It's the
We've
allergies.
worked. I worked 12 hours. I got home, peed, came downstairs. I locked you out.
I
Here we
was
are.
on the front porch waiting in this torrential rainstorm.
Oh
Just
gosh.
kidding, it's not raining. It's not raining.
Well, babe, it's been good.
It's been great.
It's been great.
Mauled to death.
Yeah.
Crazy loss. This was great just catching up.
Yeah, babe. What are you up to this weekend?
Absolutely.
Anything fun?
I
mean, if you say pickleball, I'm gonna have to take a shot.
No, I'm taking a weekend off of pickleball. Moving.
She's moving on that midnight
Again
train to
to
Georgia.
Georgia.
No, she's leaving. That's what that is.
I
Oh yeah, that's right. That is this weekend. I wish I could help you move,
I
but
know,
I've got an emotional support ostrich that I'm training at the house.
I will let you do
Nothing.
the charcuterie board from last
Yes. Hey. Yeah. When is the open
week.
house?
I don't know. Let me get settled.
Okay.
I am just excited to buy a place and not move for a long
I'm sure. babe.
long time. I had nightmares. I've moved like 3 times in the last 2 years.
Well, while you're doing that, I will have 11 of Elena's family members staying in this home.
So the studio is now
11.
a luxury
As soon as this
bedroom.
is over, I will have to push this studio table to the back wall and blow up beds because they show up here. It's going to
Oh,
be fun. It'll be fun. I'm
Yes.
just, it's just,
Have a party.
I've never had 11 people stay for 3 days.
That's
So
a lot.
I
And you'll
may
be here for it.
My only rule was don't cross the threshold of my bedroom.
You need
That
your
is
space.
that's my space.
Watch you like take up pickleball and play pickleball all weekend just to be gone.
Or like adopt all of them, and then like we live in a community and just. Oh
When
well.
in
Well, we got a lot
Rome,
to do, girl. So-
God bless America. Good to see you, buddy.
God bless him.
I don't know where to.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sign off.
Yeah, well,
nowadays.
let me do it. All right, guys.
right.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate y'all. If you got any ideas, questions, suggestions,
I'm
anything,
waving like you.
2bottlesdeep@gmail.com. We appreciate you guys listening. We've got some very good episodes coming up. I'm super excited about one. I'm not even gonna. I can't even say it.
Oh,
This is one that Wes and I have been talking about for a couple years now. We
I
finally
love-
found somebody to talk about this. It's going to be great in a few weeks.
They are willing.
they are
so-
willing.
oh,
Put
man.
your.
I have a lot of questions for that one.
Anyway, all right, babe. Well, have a good week. Hope your mood
Y'all
goes well.
too. Thank you.
I'll get you a candle or something. I may have a leftover one.
Yeah,
Whatever.
one of the teak oak wood.
Got it.
I have a very specific kind I like.
Well, you won't get that one. Only got vanilla. All right, babe. Love you.
Love you.
Hope you have
See
a
you
good
later, y'all.
week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another great episode of 2 Bottles Deep.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast.
And while you're at it, write us a fabulous review.
Please reach out to us on our email, 2bottlesdeep@gmail.com.
There is plenty of love in this world. Be a part of it.